G'day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the purple Captain Ginyu, my build for him, and just discussing how I think he's going to do in PvP, or just how good I think he is. So for those of you who don't know, Captain Ginyu is a pretty cool unit. Essentially he's quite a, interesting design character. He's a revive character, but he technically only has a 30% chance to revive. So he has 30% chance to body change into Goku when he is knocked out. However, there are things you can do to improve his chances. So you get 20% extra upon main ability activation, you get 10% extra upon landing a special move arts card, 10% upon using a special arts card, then you get another 10% per tag Ginyu Force or episode Frieza Saga battle member other than this character. Then you get 15% when he performs a vanishing step, and then you get 30% per defeated battle member. So essentially you can push it to like 100% quite easily, just using the main ability, the special move and the special arts card pushes you up to 70%, and then if you have basically a Ginyu Force tag member, you up to 80%, 90%. So it's not too bad. Honestly, the chances of actually missing the fusion or the revive are actually, like lower than, not using it, basically, if that makes sense. He's really, really cool though. I think he's a very interesting unit. He's definitely a high damage orientated unit. He's not super tanky. He's, realistically a lot more on the high damage side of things. So he has like very, very, very big damage inflicted buffs. He's also, got some pretty interesting mechanics around his special moves. So his special move obscures all enemies' cards, much like Whis, which I think is pretty good. He then also has a special arts, which increases the substitution counts of the enemy and reduces their ki, which is pretty good. It's obviously pretty important. And that allows him to kind of be a very big tempo control unit. Then when he transforms into Goku, things change up a little bit. So basically he gets a certain amount of buffs depending on how many timer counts have elapsed since transforming. So him dying early on is not such a bad thing. He gets 50% ki recovery at 20 timer counts, restores his health by 20% at 40, increases his arts card draw speed at 60. 60 is a little bit late on, but you got some tankier units, you can probably get there. His main ability increases his damage inflicted, increases his arts card draw speed, so he can have like up to +3 arts card draw speed, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. So yeah, pretty nuts. And then obviously he also has special cover change against strike arts, and then he also obviously restores his own ki, destroys an enemy card when using a strike or blast card, and has plus 15% to damage inflicted as well. So it's pretty interesting from good old Captain Ginyu. I'd say he's obviously very highly offensively orientated. Now he's got some pretty good equips. I don't have him at 7 stars, so there is one gold equip that's just come out that you can get from PvP that's actually pretty good for this guy. Or alternatively, you can wait for the awakening for this gold equipment. Either is fine to round things out, but I think the 2 silver Ginyu equipments are pretty good, especially if you're going for a full Ginyu Force team. I think you end up getting probably the best bang for your buck, if that makes sense. So yeah, that kind of covers it. Obviously we'll be taking a look at how he does in PvP, and obviously just discussing his team and everything and kind of assessing things from there. So yeah, but overall, I think Ginyu is pretty good, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well he does. So a big thing that we kind of have to understand about Ginyu is he is obviously designed a little bit to kind of resonate or work with the other Ginyu Force units. So Ginyu is incredibly high damage, but that's kind of counteracted, well not counteracted, that's kind of assisted by the fact that he's got 2 really good other banner sparking units with them. So like for example, Raccoon and Gildo, they provide really, really, really good tankiness, being an incredibly strong defensive unit. They're a unit that Ginyu can kind of get behind to kind of get his timer count built up, which is really, really good. They can also heal Ginyu as well. which is very, very important. So, they have the ability to heal their allies, which is very, very important. And it's kind of like crucial to, well, not crucial, but Ginyu doesn't have healing in his second form. And that outside of his timer count, timer, his 40-second timer or his 40 timer count, where he gains 20% health back, he actually doesn't have healing. Like, he doesn't have an ability that heals him. What this means is you don't really have coverability. So if you get stuck in a position where you're down, or you're out of, you're in a bad state, or you need to really like get some transformations going, it's really bad when Ginyu's there, because Ginyu, once he's low on health, is kind of like, realistically speaking, a little bit too low on health, if you get what I'm saying. You can't really recover from low health situations, which usually tends to mean that you just end up trying to then use him as a high impact damage unit, and it doesn't always work out as well as you'd like, if that makes sense. Now, Ginyu is great, and the thing is you need to not try to use Ginyu immediately, if that makes sense. You need to, you can use him kind of carefree in his base form, I think, personally speaking. He is very, very solid in that form. He can do some good damage. Him dying is not a problem because you've got the revive. The thing is, you want to get stuff like his main ability off. You want to get stuff like, his special cards off. You want him to revive, and then you want the timer counts to build up a little bit. So when you're using him, you don't actively use him as like this hurricane tornado damage dealer. He can still, of course, deal damage and be used when you're up, but give him a little bit of time. Just try and stall out with some of your other units. Try and hold off a little bit. Give him an extra 10 timer counts, 20 timer counts, and you can really see then like how good he can be, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I think if you just give him a little bit more time than maybe you would usually consider giving to a unit, if you just give him a little bit more leeway, then I think you can really see an incredible unit, and I think you can really have a good time. I think when you kind of sit in a situation where you're trying to just use Ginyu as your primary assault unit all the time, you're not really trying to like facilitate him, you're not really trying to give him a little bit of that time to stew. Think of him like a really good soup or a really good stew. He needs just a little bit of time on the stove. Give him like 10 timer counts, 20 timer counts. Let him get up. Let him get close to that 20% health restoration. Let him get those damage inflicted buffs. Let him just, have some time to come in when the enemy's down or weak, or maybe he's popped one or two of their moves, and Ginyu will slaughter. Ginyu is a great cleanup DPS unit. I think that's something that's definitely apparent. He can just he can mop up. He can really mop up, like really well. I think that's really crucial from Ginyu. He can do some big damage. He gives the enemy a nightmare when it comes to comboing, because he obscures cards in his base form and then he just deletes them in his second stage. So if you can land the ultimate with the second form of Ginyu, you basically have kind of like removed everything that's good like about your opposition. You can completely disrupt their tempo control. You have the ability to really control down and kind of boil down and kind of just like reduce their level of ability to play the game, because you get a lot of card draw speed. You destroy cards on strike and blast cards. You destroy cards with your ultimate. It's very difficult to play when you don't have cards. Like, it doesn't matter how high a unit's card draw speed, if they're constantly losing cards, they constantly have nothing in their options, it's very difficult. It is something that's hard to do. So for me, I think you always have to kind of like accept that. I think that's where Ginyu really excels. I think he brings this level of like really good, not only damage, but really good disruption to the opposition. I like to think of him as the Whis, the all-star Whis, but just at a better level. He obscures cards, he destroys cards, he disrupts your opponent. He can't heal, which is his only real negative. That is covered for him by the other Ginyu Force units, but if you don't have them, it can cause you some problems. And yeah, like I think, if I have to really consider how well he does, I think he does great. I think he's a great damage unit. You just have to get used to him. You have to practice them a bit. You have to get used to that timing. Like I say, you have to get really used to that situation of, am I using him at the right time? Am I giving him that extra 10 timer counts? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? And yeah, you can see he's really, really solid. So yeah, unfortunately, the revive is not that hard to get off. I think a lot of people kind of upsold the revive in the sense of like, oh, imagine missing revive. It's actually harder to miss a revive than it is to, not miss a revive, if that makes sense. Like it's legitimately a harder situation to do, to miss the revive. So outside of that, I don't really think there's that much hindrance. Maybe the healing's a bit of an issue, but like I say, overall, it's really not that big a deal. I think, he's really quite solid, and I think at the end of the day, a very, very good unit. So yeah, that's basically it. Honestly speaking, really, really good. I really, really like him. I think he's great, and I think he does a lot. He brings a lot to the table, and I think, overall, he's a really, really, really good option. You do need to have his team, I think, to make him a top pick. I do think all the Ginyu Force units complement each other excellently, and I think having all of them together is necessary for them all to be top picks. But I think he's really good. But that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a like and let me know what you think about Captain Ginyu. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care and bye.